Welcome to the F3 podcast, where we discuss all things that pertain to faith, family, and finances. And remember, no subject is off limits. We are your host today. I am Dr. Lionel M. Blair Sr., and I'm sitting next to the radiant, the glorious, the wonderful, the sainted mother herself. She is Saint Jasmine the First, Dr. Jasmine Blair, my wonderful wife.
Welcome everybody to the F3 podcast. Listen, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Make sure you hit that little notification bell in the corner so you'll be notified every time we drop a new episode. And remember, no subject is off limits because we will talk about what your pastor wants, which today we actually will. Now, today we're going to talk about what your pastor wants to tell you, but they're not going to tell you. So we're going to tell you in lieu of your pastor. Your pastor would like you to know, please mind
your business.
Now, this topic is good because there's a current clip of a certain somebody that's going viral. Y'all know I don't say names up here, but the gist of what the woman of God was saying was, to mind your business and stop minding my business. And she was alluding to her relationship status from what I gathered from the clip, because I didn't do any big research because it's not my business. That's not my pastor. But what the clip was alluding to was either that somebody had passed away, maybe they had been divorced. I don't know.
Her husband passed away.
Okay, her husband passed
away.
Like
2 years ago, I think.
Because she said even if it has been 3 years, mind your business. So basically, she was saying her relationship status was not people's business. They didn't need to be asking. They didn't need to be checking for her, inquiring. Whether she chose to move on or not was not their business.
Yeah, because I think there was some rumors. Somebody might have saw her with somebody or something.
Exactly.
Like that. I don't know what it was, but it's sad that you can't even go out to the store or go out to dinner with the opposite sex without somebody thinking something.
It's crazy. It's crazy. And, there were a lot of pastors that were in the comment section. They were agreeing and sharing similar experiences.
Yeah.
So here's the thing that and we're going to take this from a couple angles, but we're going to start with this piece of it. When it comes to your pastor's relationship status, now we talk about somebody that is single, that's not married, or they're engaged to be married. Mind your business. Why are you so, unless they have introduced this person saying, hey, we getting married, it's official, this person is going to, be, the first lady, or which, we don't go by that title, but I'm taking them as my spouse, this is going to be my wife, or, maybe you have a woman pastor, hey, this is going to be my husband, we're going to be leading the ministry together. That's as far as you need to be concerned of it, is the spiritual capacity of it and how the part of it that actually affects your life. And see, it's messed up because for all we know, she could have been going to dinner with the pastor up the street. Hey, we planning the spring revival. Let's join together for Friends and Family Day. We can rent the tent and the bounce house for the kids and the families at the park. Let's discuss it over dinner.
Yeah.
For all you know, it could have been a ministry thing.
Right.
But see, people are so messy. Like you said, you cannot go anywhere or do anything without anybody thinking something.
I don't be can. And sometimes I'll do stuff on purpose to let you talk, so that way you can get it all out.
It's sad. You can't go anywhere with anybody or do anything, without people thinking the worst. So this is why your pastor wants you to mind your business. Why are we to such a place? Now, yes, I understand those that lead, you're held to a higher standard. But the reality is, if you just can't go to dinner without somebody thinking something, what is dinner in a well-lit restaurant in public looking like? This ain't even a place to take reservations. What, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What the problem is, we are so used to what people don't understand is we are so used to, as people, looking for the worst or waiting for the tea or the drama or the gossip behind something, that we can't wait to share something. And the sad part of it is you don't realize how many people's lives you can ruin or affect when you spread lies like that, whether it's your pastor or whether it's maybe somebody else that is in the church. Now, Sister Watermelon is skeptical of the pastor because I seen pastor out to dinner didn't look like a regular dinner to me. Well, what does it look like? Unless somebody is kissing and holding hands and rubbing hands across the table, it's dinner.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it reminds me of another clip I saw recently. Now, these weren't saved people; these was just regular people. And somebody being messy took a video of the people saying, "Hey, you know, if this your man, you know, he out on a date and blah blah blah, and you know, it look like it's some cheating going on."
I saw
Yeah,
that.
come to find out, the man won't cheat, and that was his girlfriend he was out with.
Mm-hmm.
And they was not only was that his girlfriend, it was like, you know, all the people in the room knew each other. So
Right.
all the 40, 50 people in the room knew each other. This was a benefit dinner. They were raising money for a specific philanthropy event. This was for a good cause. But somebody being messy just so happened to take a video and they won't think about them.
See, this is one of the reasons why I don't be canned. And I'm gonna do what I want to do when I want to do it anyway, because people are going to form their own conclusions, especially when they already have a biased opinion about you or what you represent.
Mm.
You know, so if people have a already preconceived or preconditioned position or notion concerning you, your occupation, or you know what you stand for, what you do, they're going to always look for something. You know, and sadly, when it comes to pastors, and get me wrong, there's some crazy jokers out there that's doing some crazy stuff. All right, but you can't lump everybody in the same category, and you can't look at everybody through the same lenses. You know, people gonna always think the worst.
Yeah.
About you. You know, and when I realized that, I'm just like, you know what? Go ahead and think the worst about me. You know, I don't care. You know, people want to believe lies and rumors and stuff about you. I think that. Go ahead. I'll be that in your mind. Yeah, I did it in your mind. You see what I'm saying? In your mind, because see, you done already made up your mind about me anyway.
And that's the thing, you know, and this is why when you look at this clip with this pastor saying, you know, mind your business and leave my business alone, you know, the fact that people had already assumed that the worst of her. Won't nobody praying for her healing. They wasn't praying that, okay, maybe she moved on and found a nice man. It was just automatically the worst. Oh, what's this going on? This don't look right. This looks some kind of way. This looks suspicious. Why do you just automatically think the worst?
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. And even if it wasn't the worst, even if you just, oh, pastor was out, you know, her husband died almost 3 years ago. I seen her on a date. That's still not your business to be telling.
Right.
Even if you don't think the worst, why do you obsess over details of your pastor's life that do not affect you?
Do not affect you.
Yeah, I remember one time, true story. And you may or may not remember this, but we were having a conversation with somebody, and they was you know, asking where we was going on vacation. And me, I know how to answer questions without answering questions. So I gave an answer about a general area, but I didn't go into the details. So we kept talking, kept dialoguing. 15 minutes later, oh, so where you going on vacation? I'm thinking in my head, did not just politely tell you without telling you that it's really not your business.
Right.
Why are you going to ask me twice in the same conversation? Those are not details that affect your life. They don't affect your salvation. Some things are not a secret. It's just not your business.
Yeah.
And, you know, I have been on this thing about what is or isn't your business, because people take this position, and it's disguised sometimes as, well, I love my pastor, you know, I care for my pastor. But they take this disposition of, I have a right to know. Keep your ties in if that's how you feel. What goes on in
all right,
my personal life or your pastor's personal life, whoever, it has nothing to do with you. But see, this is how some people feel, though. And this is why you have some pastors that are put in these positions where they feel like they have to clean stuff up, or they feel like they have to detail stuff. I remember one time there was a pastor, well, I'm going on vacation, I'm not going to be here this week. And so, okay, that's fine if you're talking to your leadership team, but why do you need to announce to everybody you're going on vacation? Just go. Mm-hmm. And see, that's the difference between traditional pastoral style leadership and, how we lead and the leadership that we're familiar with, because it ain't your business.
But then that also goes back to everybody's depending on the pastor. Mm-hmm. People want to hear from their pastor. And, because the pastor is always the one speaking. He don't delegate. He don't let other people take major lead roles in the church and things like that. It's all about the pastor. So the pastor feels like he or she have to announce that they're going on a vacation because they know that people want to hear from the pastor. And if they come to church and the pastor ain't there, and minister so and so is up there, or elder so and so, or other pastors or assistant pastor so and so is up there, then they're going to get offended. They're going to get offended because they expect to hear from the pastor, and it's when it's a one-man show, that's why you feel like you got to announce it so much.
Exactly. And that's problematic because you shouldn't have to announce it. You want to go on vacation, obviously your leadership team needs to know, whatever admin or whatever, so they're not scheduling something. But other than that, nobody needs to know. It doesn't need to be this whole big thing.
And the wrong is not necessarily in announcing it. The wrong is the fact that you feel like you
obligated to. Yes.
You're obligated that you have to. You see what I'm saying? That's the wrong that we're talking about here. You got to realize your leaders are human beings.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're holy men and women of God, but they're human beings. They also have human experiences, human emotions. Okay, they have human flaws. Okay, I know y'all not ready for that, but they have human flaws. Okay, and yeah, leaders are judged to a higher standard, but you're not on that standard to judge them by.
That part.
So
that didn't mean by you.
Yeah, that mean by you. You're not on that level to judge them by that standard. You can have an opinion. You can disagree. That's fine. But to actually sit up there and try to make a judgment, no. Your leaders are human beings. Okay. So and see, this is why I see why pastors now, a lot of leaders are more private now than
yes
ever. Because before I became a senior leader, I used to bash them pastors who always feel like they got something to hide, and they got armor bearers all the time, and there's always a mystique around the leader and all this other stuff. I used to bash them people behind that, and I'm like, okay, they need to come out and touch the people, But then when I became a senior leader, and I realized people actually lie on you, people actually target you.
People get upset with you.
They get upset with you for the most minute stuff and forget all the grand stuff that God had said about you. You can cover them in all their mistakes, but you can't make one. You cannot make not one mistake. They go magnify it and blow it up. And most of the time, the stuff that they've done is way worse than what you've done.
And then when they get upset at you, they don't tell you. They sit in the congregation angry,
offended.
They'll come up and sing angry. They'll give the announcements angry, and nobody knows. And all of a sudden, this person got this whole sob story, and it's like, okay, well, how long you been feeling like this? Why you didn't say nothing? What is going on? Why did you not say something before you felt like this?
Sit around and had side conversations about you.
Yeah, it happens all the time.
Yeah, I was like, man.
I called the pastor's office and they told me the pastor was busy. Okay.
But there has to be a separation. And I know y'all not going to like this, but there has to be some kind of distinction, sanctification, and separation between
Mm-hmm.
the senior leader and the people. There
Yeah.
has to be. Because see, if you start letting folk all up in your business, letting them all up in your house and letting them all up in your stuff and all in your world like that, when mad day come, because it will come, most of the time what these people gonna do is they're gonna take what they perceive as a weakness as a result of their exposure to your world,
Mm-hmm.
and they're gonna try to weaponize it against you. They come to your house and they see a bottle of wine. That wine probably could be 5 years old. And it be sitting up there for 5 years. You just take a sip every once in a while. But see, when you get mad, I saw a glass of wine. I saw a bottle of wine on pastor's counter. You know, God forbid you come one day and you having an off day, the kids having an off day and the kids' hair not done. Or you got toys on the floor. Pastor keep his house messy. Y'all are wicked. Y'all are evil. Y'all church people are evil, especially when it comes to leaders. I've experienced you personally, so I know what I'm talking about. Y'all are the most hypocritical people. So this is why pastors keep their business quiet, and there's a mystique around the pastor. There's a mystique around the apostle or the bishop. You understand what I'm saying? That's why armor bearers are trained. Armor bearers and adjutants are trained not to let you get too close.
And I think people forget that, as you said, there's a humanistic nature about every leader that a lot of people are not exposed to. I don't think a lot of people really can accept that because it does not fit the paradigm that they've made in their own mind.
Yeah.
Just like some people can't fathom God being a loving father because they just scared and he's just some big scary man in the sky.
Right.
So you have spiritualized your leader to the point that you forget that they are human, just like you. They have to go to the grocery store. They may have to work or have some kind of business. They have other dealings. They have trials and tribulations, just like you do.
They get
have
discouraged
good days
just like
and
you.
bad days.
Yeah.
It's like people make a disconnect. And because it's easy for them to accept that about themselves, but then it's almost like experiencing things about the pastor. It removes that false spiritual romanticism of this perfect person that your pastor never tried to pretend to be.
Right. I remember one time I ran into one pastor in the store. This was a Baptist pastor.
Mm-hmm.
I ran into him in the store one day because one of my former friends used to go to his church years ago, and I said, "Hey, Pastor so and so, how you doing?" He was like, "Fine, how you doing?" And then we got to conversate and everything, and I told him that I was pastor and everything. He said, "You are?" He said, "God bless you." He said, "God bless you." He said, "Man, it ain't easy." And I mean, he was talking like he hated his job. He hated pastoring. He was like, "Man, he was talking like he felt sorry for me. He really did. He was talking like he felt sorry for me. You understand? This is the stuff y'all put leaders through, and then y'all want the leader to be all personal with you, but then when they get personal, you try to weaponize what they personal with you about. When a mad day come. So this is why you got to establish a culture in your church, to where people can't get in your business. Everybody should know your business.
No, they shouldn't.
That's why you have to have a covering. Certain things only your covering should know, or maybe your adjutants because they're close around you. Okay, covering, adjutants, maybe some friends outside of the church, outside of your church. Hopefully some other pastoral friends, maybe, if you got some, because it's hard to make friends with. It's hard for friends to be leaders with friends too. It's hard for leaders to be friends with other leaders too. That's a different story. And that probably be a whole other podcast too. We'll have to talk about another day. Peer relationships as it pertains to ministry. But when it comes to your pastor's business or your leader, your spiritual father and mother's business, you don't need to know it.
No, you don't.
They have a cover, at least they should. They have covering, they have close confidants, associates, adjutants, whatever. You see what I'm saying? And leaders don't come under this pressure from the congregants to have to tell everything.
Mm-hmm.
Don't, don't. You know, only tell the stuff that affects them. Your dating life don't affect them.
Mm-mm.
And even if you make certain mistakes, not all of your mistakes affect them either.
Mm-hmm.
Go to your covering. Go to your leader. Go see a therapist. All right. But don't be sitting up here acting like you got to tell your congregants everything. You have a divine assignment in their life.
Mm-hmm.
You was going to say something.
Yeah, you remember that one time when we were moving and somebody was like, yeah, now mind you, we were doing discipleship training. And it was like, anybody got any questions? We talk about the discipleship training. Well, I was wondering, are we gonna get to see the inside of your house for what? Why?
I remember that.
Why? Well, I was just wondering, was we gonna get why? Are you helping me move? Are you lifting boxes? Are you unpacking stuff? Are you setting up the table, the couches, the bed? But you're not helping to move. You're not bringing no food. What for what? Why?
And he the same joker that got offended and left.
Well, just cause.
I'm glad I didn't bring you to my house.
See, those are the kinds of things. Those are the things.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with you. It's not necessarily some big secret. It's just it doesn't apply to you. It doesn't pertain to your business.
Yeah. You know, these people, they come to your house, they get introduced to your world, they get to know your children. Your children grows relationships and get attached, you know, and all this other stuff. You see what I'm saying? See, this is why I don't be letting my son only got a certain set of friends. Everybody else, you know, he can see. You know, y'all have a few little moments together, but y'all ain't been hanging together like that until I'm sure to pay. Because see, people be getting personally attached. Their personal lives be getting attached to these individuals, and then these individuals get offended, and then they just get up, and then they just leave.
And you get offended either because you found out your pastor's business or you are not able to find out your pastor's business.
Yeah.
All of which are things that don't affect your soul. They don't affect your life. Don't put you in harm's way. You just have an obsession to where you want to know too much information. And it's just not needed. So we hope that this definitely gives you some clarity on some things. We definitely want to hear from you guys in the comments and hear about what you think. Senior leaders, chime in if this has been you, if you've had to bring some correction to this in your church or your ministry. We want to hear from you. And if you are not a senior leader, but you've had experiences with this, you know, either where somebody was sharing the pastor's business with you, or you were the one that used to want to know the pastor's business, and now you have grown and matured and learned better, tell us what you think in the comments. Listen, stay tuned for next episode. You can join us over on IG at King and Queen Blair. And until next time on the F3 podcast, goodbye.